If you want to build better learning habits and improve your learning in the long run, then this video is not for you. But if you have no time and you need the results now, here's what to do. Step 1. Set a learning environment. If you're going to learn your skill for just 1 week, you need to set the correct environment. You need to ensure peace and quiet, no distractions and no notifications, and even no phone and social media for the entire week. This is very important. Otherwise, you will not be able to learn a whole skill in just 1 week. Typically, I would suggest people building their learning habits and then learning the skill, but if you have no time, you have no time. Step number 2, you need to find an expert. When it comes to learning a new skill, you will not become a master in a week, but you can learn about 80% of the important stuff and be able to do the skill very fast if you find what they are and focus ruthlessly on just them. But how do you find what those 80% are? By asking an expert. You need to find the top 10 experts in whatever field your skill is in, and you need to start watching their content. The first 2 days of your journey would be spent on research. You want to find the important bits of the skill that you need to focus on and not waste time on anything else. Then spend 2 whole days watching their content and noting down every single important thing they say. Finally, get that list of important things they say and get all of the duplicates. Some of the things they say are going to be repeated over and over again. Find those and count them. The items that appear the most on the list are the most important things for your skill. Those are your starting point. You're going to learn those and nothing else. Next is a learning mindset. The learning mindset should always be quantity over quality. For all of the 10 skills that you have, you need to find the smallest meaningful exercise you can do. And you need to do as many of those exercises as you can. The more exercises you do, the better you understand the 10 topics you need to learn, and the better you become at the general skill. One thing you can add depending on the skill you're learning is projects. Now, projects that are useful for someone else and are practicing one or more of the 10 skills that you need to learn. If you're doing projects, then spend just the first day on practicing with small tasks and then spend the rest of the time practicing on projects. If you get stuck on any one of the tasks that you set for yourself, then start a timer for 2 hours. If you're not done by the end of the timer, then abandon this task and move to the next one. You need to complete as many tasks as possible, otherwise you'll spend the rest of the week thinking. Typically what you'll do if you're not in a massive hurry, you'll come back for the task at a later point in time and solve it then. In this case, you will not have the time to do that because of the massive time constraint. But if you have the time, by all means go back and finish all of the tasks you started at the end. But you'll probably not have that time if you have just 1 week to learn a massive skill. Next is getting the most amount of juice from your work days. To get more from the same amount of learning, you need to organize it in a way that you can focus more deeply. Cal Newport has this excellent book called Deep Focus, and in it I found about the importance about focusing deeply on your work. This has to do with how your attention works. When you focus your attention from one thing to something else, most of your attention jumps right away, but a little bit of it is still left hanging at the old thing, and it needs some time to move to the new thing. This process is called attention residue, and to optimize for this to happen as little as possible during your work sessions, you need to split your workday into halves, into 4-hour blocks. During those 4-hour blocks, the only thing you'll be doing is one specific type of tasks. So if you decide that you want to solve tasks for 4 hours, then you sit down and solve as many tasks as you can for 4 hours, then have a break, have lunch, go for a walk, whatever you need to refresh, and then do it again for the next 4 hours. If you decide that you want to do project work, you sit down, work on the same project for 4 hours, and then either continue working on the same project for the next 4 hours or switch project only then. The more time you spend working in the same mind space, the more effective you'll become. So try to not distract yourself during those 4-hour blocks. The fewer times you distract yourself, the more effective they'll be, and the higher the chance of you learning this skill in just 1 week. That's the whole process. 2 days of intense research and 5 days of crazy work, and you can learn to perform almost any skill competently. You will not be great at it, you will never be able to measure against masters with just a week, but you'll be able to do it competently. I'm saying this again, this is a very intense process. You shouldn't rely on this for every skill you need to learn. Use this sparingly, otherwise you will burn out. But if you need speed, this is the fastest process I know of. I hope this helps, and subscribe so I can have your back as you succeed. Stay awesome.